just to go to our question, let's jump in to the interview, if you don't mind. Just what inspired this magazine, a pivotal moment, that stands out for you?
Okay. When I think back, it actually started in 2017 when my first article was published in an international magazine called HR Future magazine. They gave me the opportunity to write an article for them. And then in 2018, I was just playing around with the idea of starting a magazine, because at the time my daughter was studying journalism and the other one was studying art. So I said, how can I combine these talents? Journalism, artist, and then my artist daughter said she wants to be a fashion designer. So she went into 2D art. And then I said, oh, and the younger one can be a model. And that's where the idea actually started. And I wrote it down in a journal sometime in 2018. And then moving to Cape Town, I found that it was a bit difficult for me to settle in and to find a job, because then COVID hit. And I had to do something. So I actually took up a program to become a certified life coach. And with that, it was actually international. So they were India-based, the course that I've done. And then accidentally, they sent me a WhatsApp message that wasn't meant for international people, but for the people of India to partake in this 21-day, writing a book in 21-day challenge. And the guy, I said, I'm so sorry, but I'm interested. I always wanted to write a book. And then he said to me, no, it's okay, you can join. We just started it. And I wrote my book within 14 days. Yes. And then that year, 2021, I graduated in June. And then July, my book was published on Amazon. And then in August, the first week of August, I certified as a life coach. So now the thing was, who am I going to serve? I didn't figure that out. I know I wanted to empower women. That was the idea. But who's the woman I'm going to empower? Because it's very broad. And then one day, while sitting in my prayer closet, and I heard these women with the babies crying, and I saw these working moms with bags and, and babies on the one arm, struggling to get into their cars, and it hit me. I was there a few years back, and I would have loved support, a resource that can actually help me on this journey. And I said, who best then to serve than the working mama?
100%.
And then the name Working Mama Za was born for my company. And that's another story in itself, because the Mama Za, it's Working Mama Za. So it also stands for South Africa, but it's derived, it's actually an abbreviation of a word, a Zulu word, a Zulu term, Mamazala. They said Mamzala. So Mamzala actually in Zulu means mother-in-law, but it can also be an endearing term for an older woman. So I thought that was so ideal, Working Mamaza. And that's how, and the magazine then started out as a prototype that same year, November, and people actually liked it. And then I said, okay, this will be my lead magnet. And then in January 6, 2022, my magazine took a life of its own, and here we are today talking to you.
I'm so honored and privileged. For those of you that just tuned in, I've got an amazing person in studio here today, and I also want to say that I've got the first edition of the 2024 Working Mama magazine. I'm the proud owner of that. It was couriered to me. Thank you so much. And the information that you just shared with me, I literally got goosebumps, because it also speaks of purpose and how purpose unfolds once you align with that. Let me just quickly read something on the WhatsApp group. Our station manager said, Riverlea is not a small town. The town is built on gold.
Place of gold, Igoli.
Yes. One of our listeners says, I have a cousin in Riverlea, the Septembers, and she says, welcome to your guest lady. You know the Septembers. Yes. Oh, you should connect with her. She's got an amazing story as well. I've asked you about the magazine. I mean, we've connected maybe just twice, and over time now, as you know, I've invited you into Africa Radio. It's really just been such a privilege for me to engage with you. The Working Mama magazine, I've read this every day since I received it.
Oh,
right?
God.
Yes. I've got it in a plastic sleeve because I want to keep it pretty, because there's gold nuggets in there. The women that is in your magazine, and I do see that there's other, there's males in there as well, but the women in your magazine, right? Do you approach them? Do they come to you? How do you go about putting your magazine, your edition together?
Okay, so my first edition, I had to reach out because I didn't have writers and I didn't want to do all that by myself. So I just went on this one group of women, females, and I asked them who's interested in writing for a magazine. And 8 women responded, and you wouldn't believe me, 3 of those women are still with me since 2021. They still write for me. And now, because of the magazine also being on a media list, so more PR companies are sending through their content and their women who writes for them. Sometimes it's the PR person themselves who's writing. Yes, and then I feature them. When I see it's something that's going to inspire, educate, or empower our working mama audience, then that is what we actually put into the magazine. I don't just take anything and everything that comes my way. I have to sort through it and see what relates to the working mama in every aspect of her life.
One of the listeners says, Brown Child, and I want to call you Brown Child. I want to say, Brown Child, that this is an exclusive magazine. The minute you open this magazine, you see the professionalism just jumping up from this magazine, and the writing is professional, right? And all the people, it is the content, makes you execute what is in this magazine. For me, I've executed that. It makes you want to, for a lack of a better word, who qualifies for a spot in your magazine?
Any working mama. You don't have to be a celeb. You can just go to our platform and complete the form to get featured. Or if you want to be a contributor, there's also a form on our website where you can go to and just contribute. Every mama has a different journey and they tell their stories differently. And I love that because it's so authentic when they send these stories through to me that sometimes I sit there and I'm like, but this was me at one point. And that is why the magazine also existed, was to give these women a platform where they could voice their journey and inspire and uplift the other mothers still coming on that journey, So we're leading the way. So we're there for the mamas who's already there, who is empty nesters now, but still working mama. It doesn't get easier as your children grow older. It doesn't. So even for the moms to be
if you would like to get a copy in your hand, we can subscribe online.
Exactly.
We can subscribe. If you would like to subscribe, let me know. We'll forward the link to you. Please, you won't be disappointed, I promise you. I'm going to ask you one question and then we're going to break with a song. What is your experience, again, for a lack of a better word, in managing an editorial team?
Oh my word. I had a good boss and he told me, trust first and then we fix the errors.
Oh wow!
Because if you're gonna fix the errors, nothing is gonna get done. So I trust first. So we first trust, accept it, and then we go through it. Any problems that we have, I have a special group for my regular contributors. We also have ideas, share ideas, on what is going into the next issue. So our second issue is already out, so it's on sale right now, and you can also read the free digital copy online on our website. So we already now, after publishing, after releasing the magazine, we're already starting with the next issue for July. So we already have content for July that we're sorting through.
I like that. Sure, she is a breath of fresh air, I promise you. And believe her when she says that trust. When we connected, the first thing she did was like, yeah, Lady C, give me your stuff. And I'm like, I can't believe she just asked me to contribute. Let me quickly read another message from one of our listeners, Renee. She says, the aunties in Rivoli can make a 60s Cape Town style. Used to take a drive from the East Rand some Sundays to get our Sunday dose of good Cook Sisters.
Favorite. Growing up, I remember that my first boyfriend's mom made the best Cook Sisters.
Yeah.
So my daughter actually had to explain to her friend in Johannesburg that there is a difference between Cook Sisters and Cook Sisters. Yeah. So we're learning.
Exactly. We're always learning, and the young people can show us a thing of two. Elise, thank you so much. I'm going to break with a song, and when we come back, we'll ask our guest more questions, because I would like for all of us, to hear how this brown child, like one of our listeners always says, the brown child that has created such an amazing of this world, but she earned the title, and if you'd like to ask Elise some questions, please feel free. If you're not part of the WhatsApp group, we've got a studio number. It's 0697145204, and if you tune in from abroad, it is on the code +27 697145204. I've also got one of our listeners that said an awesome magazine. That's Renee. She said that she received her digital version via email last week. Let me know if I should forward you the link. It would be my absolute pleasure. While we were off air, we had a conversation, and this is the following question that I would ask my guest, Elise Fisher, the mama of Working Mama magazine. Elise, this is a global magazine. Tell us, how did this happen? Which countries receives this magazine?
Oh my word. So the first time I published my magazine with research, I went to go and publish it on a website, a global website. And after that same day, actually within a few hours, 500 people read the magazine.
Wow.
And it went globally to 10 countries. The top 3 is South Africa, India, and America, the US. And there were these countries like Russia and Iceland and Singapore. I can't remember all of them, but that's where my magazine spread to. And that's how I actually got a lady from Italy to feature in my magazine. She saw it online and then she emailed me and asked me if I can do a story on her. She's actually a model who had her babies like 9 months, literally 9 months apart. And so she wanted to tell her story and how things are for the working mom in Italy. And it was amazing reading her story. And even though she was in a different country, I could still relate to her. Having 2 babies, oh, I tell you, just think 2 babies in nappies, and you're still a professional worker, a mom. And I always say to my children, one lady, she asked me in an interview, what is my superpower? And I couldn't answer that, but if she's listening, here's the answer. I'm a mom. That's my superpower. Yeah. And I tell my children, because they ask me, why do you always know what we are up to? I'm like, that's the power of a mom. We have X-ray vision, so when you're silent, we can see what you are doing. We have supersonic hearing, and we're mind readers. Before you come and ask, we know what you want.
The expression and body language.
Yes. So we can read minds, because babies can't talk, so moms need to read.
Exactly.
So that is the superpower of a mom. And also multitasking, but I don't like multitasking, you know. I feel it's a disguise for procrastination.
Is that so?
Yeah.
I like that. It is a woman-to-woman thing.
Yes.
It is a woman-to-woman thing, and it's about empowering that woman. Explain, when you say this is a community for you where you empower women, indeed, not everything, but what is that your contribution then, you know, as a person, as an individual, you know, in empowering these women?
You know, the first thing, the reason, my actual why for the magazine, that word came out, empower. And I asked the question, why empower? Empower them with what? And for me, it was support. Because I lacked that. When I had my kids, I had very little support. Being a single mom for over a decade, I had very little support. And you know, the mental state that the mom needs to be in to cope at work, at the workplace, and at home, and all the different hats that she needs to wear.
Yes.
And I could relate to that. And I felt lost and alone. And I felt in that time that I was the only mom going through this. And therefore my magazine is there to be a safe place for that working mama, to build that community and to uplift each other. So when we go through that difficult times, there is someone's story you can refer to and go and say, oh, she did it and she made it and this is what she's done. I always say it's so important to share your story, because you don't know who needs to hear that at that point in time. Maybe you're not there any longer, but somebody needs to hear your story. And that is the platform that Working Mama is setting out for these working women.
Wonderful. Besides the magazine, do you do any one-on-ones, or do you have small groups, you know, that you empower differently besides the magazine?
Yes, I'm also now going in full-time into life coaching, because networking, I have these networking events that I attend, so I meet a lot of moms and we have groups talking about the aspects of motherhood and of being the working mama, and how pivotal our role is, not only for the economy but also for our communities and our families. So we're starting soon launching our podcast so that moms can join. We also will be having chat rooms and forums on our website where moms come, and where moms can actually come and ask questions. If you're going through something, if your child is sick, there will be an expert there that can answer. I also have a Facebook group, a community, that where moms can also chat about things, and some of the moms that's on there, they're not making use of this powerful platform, because we're here to uplift one another and to actually see each other succeed. And I just want to make one thing clear today, that I walk the talk, because I believe it's not about what you say, it's about what you're doing. And I want to be a doer. I want to make an impact in another woman's life. And this is why we started these groups, because sitting there not knowing which way. And sometimes as women, we put ourselves on the back burners.
Yes, that's right.
And every mama who's listening, or woman who's listening now, can attest to that. We put ourselves on the back burners. And I can say I've met an incredible woman who inspired me. And going through that dark times, they were there for me. My confidence, my support system that I never really had. That they did, and they can actually relate to what I'm going through. So that makes this platform so awesome, where we can share and not only just say that we're gonna fix each other's grounds, but actually fix each other's grounds.
Yeah, we need to be doers. And there's a lot of things that trends, but I don't attach to the trends, because I honestly just need to see the doing of it. So I don't attach myself to those trends, but what you are saying, it is the absolute truth. Because we're living in a time where there's a lot of single moms and they need support groups. And the magazine will give, honestly, if you are under the sound of my voice, subscribe to this magazine, go online and see how this magazine helps you. I read 2 weeks ago the exercise, the portion of health, and also so there's little bits of advice there. Literally 2-minute cardio back, all those exercises that I could do before I leave to wherever I need to be, and then come from there to the studio, making sure that I get my daily dose of exercise in. It works.
Yes, just moving your body, it's so important. It's not only for the physical, but for your mental health too. It somehow relaxes you, and that is also another. Thank you for touching on that. That's also another point I want to bring across. My thing is that when you open the magazine, that a working mom who reads it should at least have a takeaway in 2 minutes, that they're sitting and reading the magazine, that they can implement in their daily lives immediately, and not have this extravagant things that moms have to learn, because we on the go people. We need fast. There will be recipes. If you see the recipes, it's very fast. It's microwave. And it's not, you're not a bad mom if you have to sometimes take time for yourself and take time away from cooking dinner for the family and just get takeaways. Doesn't make you a bad mom. And even, I used to be like that, feeling so guilty when I splurge out on myself. And then I feel like, eyes on me.
Yeah.
I'm such a bad mom.
Yes.
I didn't buy for my kids. You know, you go shopping. I first need to buy for the kids. But the kids have so much. Go look at your closet. See what you need. And I say self-care doesn't have to mean you have to go to a spa. It doesn't have to be extravagant. You can just sit in a bath with candles, light candles, and your crystals, or your these
Fragrance candles.
yes,
Yeah.
not only the candles, the bombs. I love the
bombs
bombs.
is absolutely
I
the bomb.
love the bombs.
The bomb.
And just to take time out
Yeah.
to yourself, listen to music. I love music. So most of the mornings I'm alone and I just go crazy with my playlist at home. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's just to relax. But moving my body and doing things. In my life coach program, we call these buzz moments. You have to fit in buzz moments throughout the day. And they said you must at least have 5 buzz moments from the moment you get up. So mine start with reading the word and praying, and then after the hustling and bustling in the morning of getting everybody ready, then I'll do a bit of exercise, light exercise, and then from there I would journal. And if I'm not journaling, depending on the mood, I would listen to a podcast to uplift me, to energize me, to motivate me throughout the day. And then my work starts at 9 in the morning. That's the nice thing of being your own boss. You start anytime.
And work till whenever.
Yes.
And I was like, Elise, I'm so sorry. I'm texting you so late, but I need to ask you something. But you know, lady, see, I'm still awake.
Yeah. But that is how I spread my and I make myself a good healthy breakfast for myself. I actually this year my goal is to work on my health. And I actually got a dietitian to set me up a personal meal plan, and it's on my fridge, and I follow that plan. It's just a guide. It's not cast in stone. Just to make it easier for me to see what I need, because what we do as moms, we just grab everything and we eat of our children's plates because they didn't finish. I know I spoke to one of the moms recently, and she said, Lisa, I didn't even eat. I actually had a full meal because I was eating all the food off my grandchildren's plates.
That's so true. When someone invites me for lunch or we go to a restaurant, I eat as if I've never ate anything, because that is basically the only time that I have a proper meal, so that I understand that. At least we're going to break with the song, and I've got some more questions. It is 1:42, and there's such a lot still to ask, and she is just super, super awesome. I just want to say the following to the listeners. Elise is like this. What you see is what you get. If you see her here like this today and you chat to her on WhatsApp, she's the same. If you see her at a business event, she is the same. So you can take whatever she is talking about today, you can take it to the bank. So let's break with a song by Sybil, Make It Easy on Me. We'll be back. Talking with my raw voice at the same time, because it's camera and everywhere here, so we're on TV. I'm just saying. I would love to read some messages for you that came through to our WhatsApp line. I've got a young lady by the name of Tiffany. She says, loving every moment of the show. My auntie has been my role model since forever, and her doing this magazine for all us mamas makes me so proud. Love, Tiffany.
Awesome.
I've got another message here for you, dear. She says the following: I'm in awe of Elise. She's a strong and resilient woman. I love that she has the act now and ask later approach. I was introduced to that. She's inspiring so many entrepreneurs, especially this one. Thank you for who you are, Elise. Continue to speak the truth and giving women a voice. Let's see who this is. It's just called Other Businesses. It's called, well, I'll check it out again.
That's Michelle.
Is it Michelle? Oh, you know your people, hey?
I know my people.
I've got another message from one of our listeners. Amanda says, very inspiring, Elise. Definitely need to get my hands on one. Awesome. Elise, we spoke about something, a lot of things. Do you refresh my memory?
But we spoke about empowering
yes,
and health
yes,
and self-care.
Yes, yes, we spoke about that. And that is exactly what we need as women on the go. And your magazine gives us the ability to fit that into our day-to-day programs, you know. And coming back to the magazine, how do you as the editor ensure that the content that you're publishing meets the highest quality, that standard?
Oh my word, a lot of reading, a lot of experience, and I know my audience. I know what as a working mom myself, I want to put out what actually will help the next month. So the content should relate to that, and it should be content that can be easily implemented, like I said before.
Yes.
So I'm a person, I don't like spam. Don't spam me with your WhatsApps or your emails. So I try with my newsletter to do a bit extra. So if you don't appear in my magazine, because it's a quarterly magazine, so I can't fit all the content in. So we have categories where we put the content in. And the most recent one we have is the community. Ladies working in their communities, uplifting their communities. It is so inspiring seeing what these ladies are doing from their own resources and going out there and putting themselves out there. You know, so that is one of the things that I really look at, community projects. Who's the mom behind that? And then people who approach me at networking events, they ask, so what about me? I said, you know, we want to talk about you because we see this perfect person, all glam, and we want to know who's the mom behind the scenes. And that is where that content comes in. Who is the mom behind the scenes and what does she need? And sometimes we don't speak up. So we have ways of talking to moms, having these groups and forums where moms would mention something like mom guilt. You know, that thing is something I really had. I struggled with. I always felt like I was never good enough as a mom. But now I understand that concept and I understand that I should come first, like the saying that you can't actually give from an empty cup. So you have to fill yourself up first, and then you can give the best to the rest of your family, friends, extended family, community. And just touching on the community thing, I think it's so awesome, and I salute that woman who goes into the communities. I'm just supporting now a recent, it's called Strawberry Pride, and they're busy collecting sanitary towels and things for girls at school, you know. And I think this mom took the initiative using her own resources and doing that for her community. I mean, nobody told her to do that. Nobody expected her to do that. And she has these buns up You can donate, or you can just go and buy a pack of sanitary towels or roll-ons or something, toiletries, and just throw it in those bags. And I mean, I know I come from a very poor family. We live below the breadline, and that's why I can relate to that, and it affects you as a student when you don't have toiletries and you're wondering how you're going to get through this day. You can't even focus on your school, and it also affects your confidence. And people think it's just simple things, but you're building confidence, because now that girl can now go out and know, okay, somebody's there taking care of that basic need, so I can focus on this. So that's the ripple effect that mamas have in the community, and therefore I am so proud of them today. And I would love to. I used to, in Johannesburg, go around schools and talk to girls and inspiring them with my story, to say that your environment does not have to determine your destiny.
100%. Sure, Elise, this has been just so awesome. We spoke about your profession. As
Diverse.
Talk about the human resource side of Elise. That is what your profession actually is.
Exactly. When I started this magazine, I had no clue I had no background, media background. I had no journalism training, editorial training. I was just someone with an HR qualification who wanted to make a difference. And like I said, the magazine was supposed to be like a lead magnet, just a booklet that's there to attract people to my life coaching business. I didn't expect it to grow like this. So yes, I actually, like I said, a diverse career path. I started out in the banking industry, got over that, and wouldn't believe me, out of the finance into the education system.
Oh, wow.
I actually taught grade 8 to 10 maths.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
It's like it fluctuated down and up and down and up. Yeah.
And then from there, I went into HR. I just one day said, God is leading me to HR. And then I kept on seeing this HR qualification, and I want to know more about it.
Yeah.
And it's that year that the Labor Relations Act was actually implemented.
Yeah.
The Labor Relations Act of 1995. That's when I start my HR career.
Wow, a long time ago.
Yes, so I'm an HR professional for over 15 years. And then taking it from there, published author, certified life coach, and now editor. Does that make sense?
We grow through life,
We
you know.
evolve.
We do. I actually do have that hashtag she evolved. I like that. Human resource. A little bit about your book. Share with us a little bit about your book.
My book was about 5 easy ways to overcome limiting beliefs. I did not know about limiting beliefs until I did my coaching program. And that's where I learned how to counteract that limiting beliefs with empowering beliefs, and how to actually ingrain that empowering beliefs. Remember, when you let go of something, you have to replace it with a good thing.
That's
just like a habit. Can't unlearn it. You have to replace it with a good habit.
That's right.
And that's what my life coaching will be all about limiting beliefs and how to help women overcoming that limiting beliefs. That limiting belief that's standing in a way to start that business, and I'm talking to my sister today.
Oh, she's tuned in.
That business, the seed is planted. It's just for her to take action. But there is an underlying limiting belief that you can't do it.
Oh.
So all these, even with money, you wouldn't believe me. Sometimes you have this limiting belief that actually stops you from becoming wealthy. It's limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
A limiting belief I had was, I'm not a good enough man. That was my limiting belief. And it's not like a quick thing. It's not going to be just today you replacing it and then it's gone.
Yeah.
It's training. It's learning and seeing how to identify. First you have to identify your limiting beliefs, and then we can work through it from there and see how we can counteract it with empowering beliefs.
Wonderful. So you are going to have your groups and you are going to do this on a one-on-one.
Yes, it's going to be groups and one-on-one. Yes.
Elise, it's been absolutely amazing. I have 75,000 other questions that I want to ask you, and you definitely, we need to do this again, because it's just really been, it's not an eye-opener. It just brings, all the pieces of the puzzles, the things that you think about, but you cannot articulate it. You brought all those pieces together. While I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you, there's those light bulb moments that you have, and we had conversations already, but this is the first in-depth conversation really about who it is and what it is that she is doing. And you're on board here with AKR, and we are blessed to have you here, and thank you, for allowing us to this is your baby, and that you put your baby in our hands.